Hey, Coach, just wondering how it felt to actually get a player back yesterday off the COVID list in BJ Goodson. How much will that help you guys? And then are you hoping to get others back as well?
Yeah, we're definitely hoping to get other players back. We just have to wait and see what happens. But to get BJ back, he's been a leader, really the quarterback of our defense. It's helped getting those other guys reps. So he'll come back in and we'll fit him in. I don't know, maybe more of on a rotational basis, but it's definitely good to get back a player that's played well for us.
And do you think, are you hoping against hope that Denzel Ward is going to be able to play this game?
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I don't know what the outcome of that's going to be, but we do have guys that had some experience, got some experience last week playing, so I feel like we'll be good either way.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Scott Petrick is next.
Hey, Joe. I want to ask you about Robert Jackson, but first, just not having Kevin, knowing he won't be at practice whenever you guys practice and won't be at the game on Sunday, like how unsettling is that for the coaching staff and the players?
I think just from the beginning, I think we've all been involved, our entire coaching staff. He kind of lets us, run our side of the ball. And I feel like for the guys, I feel like with Coach Prefer taking over for him, I know Kevin will be missed, but I feel like they'll be confident in his ability to, fulfill Kevin's role. I'm going to do my same deal that I've always done on game day, the same with AVP. So I feel like we'll be fine, but I'll miss seeing him on the sideline for sure.
And then with Robert, I mean, how do you think he did in his first start? And if he has to, fill the same role again in the playoffs, do you think he can make a big jump for, from start one to start two?
I definitely think he can do that. That was really his first exposure. So you throwing him out there under those circumstances was really a tall task. And I feel like he made some plays. We all seen the plays that he didn't make. But when you go back and you watch it, and it's always what I try to tell the players is just evaluate your technique. Could have been better. And when you look at it, he definitely could have been better technique-wise on a couple of those plays. And he was, half a step away from making those. So hopefully he can make that jump this week because I think they're definitely going to target him.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Scott. Jeff Shadell, you're up.
Hey, Joe, how much different does your game plan have to be, knowing that, of course, this week you have Ben Roethlisberger to contend with?
Yeah, it's, I feel like what they did against us last week is going to be very similar. Ben's a veteran quarterback. It's hard to fool him. It's hard to disguise against him. So he's going to figure it out. So we're going to have to give him some different coverage packages. We tried to do that a little bit last week with Rudolph. We'll do a little bit more this week. But when it all comes down to it, guys are going to have to execute their jobs, and they're going to have to win one-on-ones. He's going to catch us a few times, and guys are going to have to step up and make plays, bottom line.
Thanks, Jeff. Tony Grossi has our next question.
Hi, Joe. I know the one time you sent pressure against Rudolph, that created the interception. But it was very seldom that you did that. I don't know if it was because you were being vanilla, knowing you were facing them again, or your trust of the guys in the secondary. How delicate is that balance into trusting, a guy who had played only 6 plays all year and leaving him in single coverage when you throw the blitz at? How does that affect now with Ben?
Yeah, it's just something we talk about, and we go through the game plan. We look at different situations and feel like, based on each situation, what's best for us to run. Now you have to count, last week, just with losing guys late and getting those guys in the fold, I was a little bit more cautious last week. I didn't want to really expose them any more than I needed to. Just try to get them comfortable. But this week, I feel like they've got the experience. They understand we're doing a little bit better. So I feel like I can have some more aggressive calls at times.
The other question I had was Adrian Claiborne. How much gas does he have in the tank at this point of a season and this point of his career? Because he's pretty much been the same snap count through the last 5 or 6 years per game. Then you'll probably have to up that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we still have the ability to rotate, but he plays hard when he's in there. He comes off on the sideline, some of the times, and he wants me to throw a call in there for him. But I love him. I love his intensity that he brings. He doesn't really say a whole bunch, but he's definitely going to play some more this week. I feel like he's capable. I know he's an older vet, but that's good for us because he understands who he's going against and what he needs to do to have success.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Tony. Tom Withers, we'll go to you.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Joe. Joe, for several months, you've told us that in the summer, you knew this was going to be a crazy season. Could you imagine this scenario?
No, not really. I mean, I had a lot of confidence. Just the previous years, just the different teams I've been on, we happened to play against them, when I was on the previous team. And, coming here to Cleveland, I knew there were talented players on the roster on both sides of the ball, so I was excited. And then when everything happened, I knew it was going to be a season where we had to play everybody. And now you're seeing that really come to light. We're where we're at right now, heading to this first playoff game. So I feel very confident because a lot of guys have played. They played in big games, whether it was last week or, primetime games. So I feel like we'll be ready to go regardless who we put out there on the field.
Coach Prefer was saying that with the lack of practice, you guys are going to have to lean on all those banked reps that you've had. How much, though, Joe, not being able to practice this week like you normally would, how much of a competitive disadvantage is that?
I don't look at it that way. I know it's obvious that it should be that way, but I feel like we've been meeting so much, and since the off season on Zoom, just installing coverage packages, testing guys, having the feedback from the guys. So I definitely feel like, with the game plan we had this week going into the game, some things we've added, I feel like they're definitely capable of handling it. You would like to get on the field and at least get it repped and get them lined up, and I hopefully we'll be able to do that. I think that's big for us this week. But I definitely feel like they'll be able to handle it. Might not be perfect, but I feel like we can go out and play well.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Nate Ulrich has our next question.
Coach, how important was Olivier Vernon to you guys this year? How much do you feel for what happened? And from talking to him, or can you give us any idea of kind of where his head's at, with a tough injury to come back from?
Yeah, he's definitely in a positive state of mind. But Ovi did a great job. Coming in, I know this is a combination of him and Miles and how they played before in the past. We had those conversations from day one, and he knew he was going to have to move around a little bit for us to put Miles where we need to put him. And I felt like he handled it really well, and I felt like he took advantage of his opportunities throughout the season to really show how good of a player he could be for us on defense. It's going to be tough not to have him out there just because of how he was playing, really from the middle of the season on. But guys are going to have to step up and really make the plays that he was able to make for us throughout the season.
Thank you, Nate. Marla Ridnour, we'll go to you.
Yeah, Joe, I know you guys have been through a lot of adversity, but do you think not having Coach Stefanski on Sunday can possibly even galvanize you even more?
I think it will. He's been so steady. His message to the team has been consistent. And it's always about not making excuses, and the guys understand that. It's been preached all year. So it's just the next thing we have to deal with. And he's prepared us well. Again, Coach Prefer will take over and do a nice job. And I think the players will go out and just really believe in the message that he's been sending them and play as hard as they can to see if we can get a win.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marla. Mary Kay Cabot is next.
Yeah, can you just talk about MJ Stewart's interception and obviously how big that was in the game? And it just seems like that has happened so many times this season where maybe like an unheralded guy or an unexpected guy has made that kind of a play for you.
Yeah, it was definitely big. And our wins this year, we've done a good job just in terms of turnovers on defense, or I should say takeaways on defense, and the overall turnover margin. And at that point of the game, just getting the turnover and setting the offense up for a score was big. I feel like it might have been the biggest thing that happened throughout the game. So hopefully we can duplicate that, and maybe it's MJ this week, maybe it's Javier, who knows who it's going to be. But we do need to step up and find a way to get takeaways to give us a chance to win.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Back to Scott Petrick.
Hey, Joe, I know there's a lot of talk about Ben Roethlisberger's arm strength at the end of the season in Pittsburgh. When he did what he did in that second half against Indy, does that show you that he can still make every throw he needs to make?
Absolutely. He definitely has it. You know, he's a rhythm thrower. And I think the advantage with veteran quarterbacks have seen it all. They kind of know they can figure out what we're playing. So I think that gives him an advantage of where he's going to throw the ball. And he does a great job of looking at off coverage, moving coverage, and then throwing it on time. And you can see that he still has the arm strength. He's making accurate throws down the field. So again, we're going outside. We're going to make 4 or 5 plays one-on-one to have a chance to win this game.
Well, how important is it to take away those deep shots, especially after they had some success against you last week doing that with Mason?
Yeah, that's always the name of the game. Is always take away the deep shots, make them check it down, move the ball down the field, and find a way to get off the field on 3rd down. So that's always a message that we preach. And like last week, we made a few plays, but they made a few plays too. We can't let that happen this week. If it does, we'll have a hard time winning this game.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Scott. Tony Grosso, you're up.
Joe, in the game last Sunday, the fact that Miles didn't get to Rudolph at all, was that because of them or because of him still being not 100%?
No, I think Miles is fine. They just you have to give them credit. They did a nice job just with their protection. At times when we're able to get there or get close, he was getting rid of the ball fast. That's about dynamic of their offense, especially with Big Ben. Sometimes it's catch and throw. If he is sitting back throwing it deep, they'll protect him at times. So I just had to do, a good job of just combining, man coverages, zone coverage, bringing some pressures just to create some one-on-ones for not only Miles, but for some of the other guys to have a chance to put some pressure on Ben.
And I assume that the reason Robert Jackson started last week was because maybe he had the best practice week or in a mini audition for that role. Yeah. And I'm wondering if that's accurate, like you don't have time to audition this week, right?
Yeah, and really there's not many people to audition. So it's like we got to go with what we got to go with. And all those guys are very capable. We have the ability to have a few different combinations with the guys we'll have up this week at this point. But I'm totally confident in Robert, seeing what he's done. Again, just for him to go out in that game, the magnitude of that game, I felt like he did some good things, and some of the other things that he got beat on, I think that we can get him a little bit better prepared technically to have some success.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. We have time for 2 more questions. Nate Ulrich, Mary Kay Cabot. Nate, go ahead.
Coach, I just want to ask you about Ronnie Harrison coming back and playing every snap, and Jacob Phillips coming back and playing every snap, and what you saw from each of those guys.
Yeah, it was good to get Ronnie back. The guys love being around Ronnie. Like, yeah, he's just like the kid in the playground, just love to play football. So he brings a lot of energy to our defense. And he was off a little bit, but that was just him getting his legs back underneath him. I feel like he'll definitely play better, but having him out there is big for us. He's always around the football. And then Jacob, just he's been learning the whole season, and he's the kind of guy that plays with his hair on fire, but at times is not always where he's supposed to be. I felt like he made strides last week, and I feel like he is definitely the type of player that can have a big game for us this week based on what we're doing.
Thank you very much, Nate. And the final question for Coach Woods goes to Mary Kay Cabot.
I know you guys have been tasked with rolling with the punches all season long, but on top of Denzel having to miss that game, then you get late word that Kevin Johnson was out, and that was significantly late. And obviously you don't know if either of those guys are going to be back. What was it like to find out that then Denzel's replacement was going to be out of that game so late?
Yeah, you know what? This how things have been going all through last year and early into this year. It's just something that you have to be ready to deal with. So it's not like it caught us by surprise, because every day we take the test and you never know what's going to happen. So we practice multiple guys. We've done that all season. And, it was unfortunate we didn't have those guys, but we were ready to move on with putting Robert in, MJ, just going with that combination with Terrence Mitchell. I hope that's not the case this week. We can just keep rolling. But we were ready to deal with it.